It's a Group 1 race day at Sha Tin on Sunday. It's the Champions and Chater. Russian Emperor is looking for his third consecutive win in the race. And the horse in blue arrives from overseas to try and topple the locals.
Russian Emperor closing hard, a grandstand finish, and Russian Emperor goes back-to-back in the Champions and Chater Cup.
Massive Sovereign, he's 2 lengths away. Car Young Generation, Massive Sovereign, Galaxy Patch, Massive Sovereign, he wins a dinnership, win the Derby.
5G Patch on the outside, and his stablemate Larceny Blanche is chiming in as well. Larceny Blanche gets the upper hand in the Queen Mother Memorial, and Larceny Blanche has won.
They were a look at some of the locals in the race. Couple of locals on the panel today too, Tom Wood and Nick Child. And the horse we didn't see in the promo is the great Rebels Romance.
Absolutely, Mark. Yeah, look, he's a super horse, this guy, and he really does bring plenty of added interest to this final Group 1 of the season for sure. So thoroughly looking forward to seeing him. But look, he's not going to have it all his own way. There is a 2-time winner of this race, bidding to make it 3 coming up. There
is indeed, Tom. And what about that race and also the jackpots for the weekend?
You can't wait for the Group 1 mark, of course. It's been 14 years since Godolphin have had success here in Hong Kong, of course, with Saeed bin Saror, but they get a chance this weekend with Charlie Appleby. And there is a jackpot for the double trio, the 4th double trio, and it does kick off on the Champions and Chater Cup of around 720,000.
There is the information. As far as the information for the meeting goes, we do have an earlier start time because there is a simulcast race coming in from Japan. All races on the turf and the rail in the A-course position for meeting 75. Just going to preview the Group 1 on the show, the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater at 10 minutes past 4. They line up this way. Rebels Romance at the top of the book has been everywhere and won everywhere. Straight Aaron had a trial on Tuesday. 5G Patch, runner-up last time in the Queen Mother Memorial. Russian Emperor looks for 3 wins in a row in this race. Larceny Blanche, the winner of the Group 3 Queen Mother Memorial. A Massive Sovereign, the Derby winner, has his first start over 2,400 metres. So just a field of 8 here. Tom, Moments in Time set a cracking pace last time in the 2,400 metre race. And wasn't that far away at the end.
No, he wasn't. He set up some very fast sectionals there, didn't he? Moments in Time, and got out to a decent lead. And he should be able to go forward, and they'll be just maybe looking to harness a bit of that energy with him. The international competitor, Rebels Romance, he shouldn't be too far away. He's an on-pace runner. Doesn't necessarily have to lead, but he won't be too far away. Straight Aaron with a good draw, and then you've got Russian Emperor likely to be back with possibly 5G Patch, who shouldn't be too far away at the back of the field.
We move on, Nick, to the previous winners of this race, and it's a graphic, as you can see, where there's not too many names on it.
No, there's not. Look, it's always proven a good race for sort of, dual and multiple winners, and obviously Russian Emperor, as mentioned, is the horse in question going for his 3rd one. Of course, Exultant won it a couple of times as well. So there is that record there, Tom, and plenty of 2-time winners. Viva Pitaka, of course, a superstar, and well, what about River Verdon?
Yep, he won it, of course, 4 times in a row in the early 90s, 91 through 94. The great Viva Pitaka there on the list, a 3-time winner. So Russian Emperor looking to move sideways there to, of course, join him as a 3-time winner.
And for more on the International Raider, it's a familiar face and a familiar voice to Hong Kong racing. Graham Cunningham joins us here on Racing to Win. And Graham, oh boy, have Godolphin sent us a good one for this race on Sunday.
Hi Mark, hi everyone. Great to be back with you. I think they have. Rebels Romance is, I think the great thing about this is the doors are open again. Romantic Warrior, Voyage Bubble off to Japan. Here comes Rebels Romance for the Champions and Chater. And I think he's a real throwback. He's a throwback to the old Fantastic Light days when Godolphin sent top horses all around the world and they won big races all around the world. And that's exactly what this fella has done. He's won big races in Dubai, UK, Germany, Breeders' Cup at Keeneland, Amir Trophy in Doha. And last time, I think, perhaps his best ever performance when he beat a stellar field in the Shima Classic on Dubai World Cup night.
We've got his record on screen at the moment, Graham. 12 wins from 18 starts, and it's just an embarrassment of riches. As you said, he goes everywhere, and the travel doesn't affect him one bit.
Yeah, and look at him as well. He's a striking big, near black beast. And some people said, and rightly so, that he got a perfect run through that Shima Classic in March. But look at the horses he beat, Mark. This is, I think, 2nd through 7th. Shariar, a Shima Classic winner in the past. Liberty Island, a Japanese Triple Crown heroine. Justin Palace, a Tenno Show winner. Emily Upjohn, a Coronation Cup winner. Point Lonsdale, who was the pacemaker for Auguste Rodin, has gone on to bolt up in the Ormond Stakes, a group race at Chester. And Junko, who finished 7th, was a really good winner of the Hong Kong Vase in December. And look at this horse. Look at the enthusiasm, the hunger he gallops home with under William Buick. So if he is on his A game, he sets Sunday's Field a mighty, mighty target. I must say, Mark, I would be a little bit concerned if we got a really, really wet track, but hopefully the recent rain in Hong Kong will improve the situation for some sunshine on Sunday.
It is raining on Friday afternoon as we record this Hong Kong time, Graham, but is it supposed to improve as the weekend goes along? We saw there in the Shima Classic he was going left-handed. His record right-handed is perfect.
Absolutely. And as recently as Doha a couple of months ago when he beat a pretty good field and he beat them decisively. He's a very uncomplicated rider. Pick him up in Doha. He's already got on the lead. Don't think he necessarily has to lead this weekend, but he's perfectly comfortable on the speed. And of course, the Japanese horse who finishes 2nd, who ran well in Hong Kong in December, was a bit wayward. You can see him hanging out towards the stand-side rail, but he's firmly in command again here, Rebels Romance. Again, that hunger and that zest and enthusiasm. He's right at the peak of his powers now, this horse. And there's a really nice human angle, a Godolphin angle. I think Godolphin have had about 420-something Group 1 winners. Charlie Appleby's supplied a lot of those. Big races, Group 1 races in every major racing nation. Bar one. I remember meeting Charlie when he came to Hong Kong for I think it was the 2018 Chairman's Sprint Prize with the top sprinter Blue Point. Didn't go well from a bad draw that day, but there's an itch that Charlie wants to scratch. He wants to get that Hong Kong Group 1 on his dance card, and it looks like Rebels Romance is just the lad to provide it.
It sounds a perfect recipe for Godolphin to win. It's been a little while, Graham, since they've had a victory in Hong Kong. 2010, their last one, and the victories recently have all been on Champions Day or International Day.
Yeah, looking back to Fantastic Whyte, who was 20-odd years ago, Ramonti, Mastery, horses like that. This horse with that rating in the 120s, he stacks up well with practically all of those good horses. So can't wait to see him at the weekend. If he is right on his top form, he can win this and he can win it decisively. But a wet track does provide 1 or 2 complications. Love to see Russian Emperor come back. Is he bidding for a 3rd consecutive win in this race?
He's indeed. He's won the last 2. He'd be looking for a wet track, Graham, and he comes here. He put up lame in the Queen Mother Memorial last time, so he had a slight excuse, but he'll need to be as good as the last 2 years, although he did beat Romantic Warrior last year. However, Rebels Romance in grand form, as we know.
Yeah, absolutely. So can't wait for the race. 5G Patch, Tony Cruz seems to fancy him. Should be a pretty well-run race with moments in time. That'll suit Russian Emperor, but this Godolphin horse, Rebels Romance, is very uncomplicated in terms of his running style. We know he's a proven well-traveller. He's been to Germany multiple times. He's been to America several times. So the travel we can't regard that as a major barrier to his success. I think really heavy rain just before the race might be a concern. Otherwise, it could be Godolphin on the mark and Charlie Appleby, Australia, Canada, America, all over Europe, and of course the UAE. He's dying to get that Group 1 on his Godolphin dance card in Hong Kong. Sunday, clearly his best chance yet.
This is the big tick coming up on Sunday. Graham, thanks for joining us here. Always great to have you on Racing to Win. I'm sure we'll see you back in Hong Kong very soon.
Always a pleasure, Mark. Have a great weekend, everyone.
And as always, thanks to Graham for giving some time here on Racing to Win. Tom, we moved to the Queen Mother Memorial last time, and 5G Patch and La City Blanche, who were just off the pace turning for home, end up fighting out the finish. Russian Emperor did have an excuse.
Yeah, he did. He pulled up lame. He's had a few lameness issues through his career, has Russian Emperor, and he just whacked away from mine in this race, really did Russian Emperor. But the pace has been really set up in front by, of course, Young Generation, who was up there, but more so Moments in Time. You can just see how quick some of these sectionals were as well. Through those early stages, they finished over a second and a half inside standard in the end, and it was a good run in the end from Moments in Time, but he's got the bigger weight here to shoulder this time round. He's got a further 11 pounds on his back, but he had to like what La City Blanche and also 5G Patch did. 5G Patch has run close in this race in the past, Nick, and I think he's got another big chance again this weekend.
Yeah, look, I think both of them do. They certainly have their chance. At Moments in Time is an interesting runner. He actually won a race over this trip in Chile and then got disqualified, so he'll stay at OK. And look, that always has been the key trial.
There is a look at the graphics for the Queen Mother Memorial and how fast they went. Plenty of minuses through the first 4 sections, and then plus 0.83 and plus 0.35 for sections 5 and 6. Well inside standard time. Russian Emperor we just saw finishing down the field in that race. To see how he has done since the Queen Mother Memorial, here is his trainer, Douglas Whyte.
Yeah, look, it's been well documented. This has been my target for the last year, and couldn't be happier with his condition at the moment. He had a proper turf gallop yesterday morning, and yeah, it's all systems go.
Obviously the season has been a bit disrupted with the injury problems in December, but this has always been one of his major targets, hasn't it?
Well, it's been the target. It was a distraction and a disruption, you're correct, but you know, he's come through that and he's fine, and this has been our main target. I thought his run in Qatar was very good. I thought there were circumstances. There were 3 seconds slower than standard on the day, and came from last, the only horse running on. The winners come out and justified that and won in Dubai again. He's obviously the horse to beat, but look, I couldn't be happier with the condition of my horse going forward.
And what about the run in the Queen Mother? 7th position he finished, but he was carrying top weight, and now you're going to meet a lot of these horses on level weights again.
I mentioned that before the race. It's been a long time between drinks that a horse with 135 or top weight has won that particular race. It's normally renowned as a lightweight wet tracker, and it played accordingly. I thought he came to the race travelling well, and he knocked up the last 150, but condition took its toll, and preparation also took its toll. I think he's got the mileage into his legs now, and he's had 3 weeks between runs, so it's been a good preparation from that race going forward.
Just a final question, just tell us a bit more about Russian Emperor in terms of his character and just how much he means to you as a horse. I know he's a very, very important and integral part of your stable.
He is. I think everybody's seen that I'm the only one that ever gallops him, and I've been with him throughout his career since he's got here. I've travelled with him. He's been a superstar in my yard. Should have won the Derby. He's won 3 Group 1s and Qatar. First horse to travel to there. It's going to be a sad day when he has to retire, but I'll certainly find him a good home. But he's been the backbone of my yard.
Douglas's thoughts on his star from the stable. Nick, what are your thoughts on Russian Emperor in this race?
Look, I think he's got every chance, especially if the rain sort of comes, and he does like to get his tail. I don't think he needs it bottomless per se, but he does like it when there's a bit of give in the ground. And look, he's a class horse. He's won 3 Group 1s. I mean, they don't give them away. So, you know, this is his race, and this is what they've targeted.
Yep, he's looking to become a 3-time winner of this race, but I think he's got some really stiff competition here in the form of course, Rebel's Romance. So I'm saying he's playing for place money only.
That is the first part of racing to win. Plenty more to come as we focus on the other runners in the Champions in Chater after this break, along with the last run reminder and all of the best bets. Welcome back to Racing to Win. We're midway through the preview for the last Group 1 of the season, the Champions in Chater. Before we get back to some of the other runners in the race, Tom, it is time to illuminate the last run reminder.
And it is Illuminous, race 3, number 7. I see what you did there, Mark, with Illuminous. And here he is. It wasn't the quickest away in his most recent start, Illuminous. And this race here, of course, was going back to the 5th of May, where he ran third. 0.69 faster than standard through the first 1,000 metres in 59.61. You can see him, he's still basically last coming to the 300 metres. Doesn't really look like he's going anywhere at this point, but does start to swiftly move up inside the final 200 metres, and he was probably a bit keen in the run, so that was a little bit detrimental to his chances as well. This time round he's going to be £6 better off with Holy Lake for that length and a quarter, beating last time out over the 1,800 metres, and he has run well over the 2,000 metres in the past as well.
As he was placed at the trip 2 starts ago, so it is a race 3, number 7, Illuminous, the last run reminder as we get back to the Champions and Chater preview now, and we've got upcoming here Straight Arrow, Nick, and this was Tuesday morning. It was rainy. Vincent happy to sit wide on the track on him and over the 1,200 metres. Yeah, look, you know, I can understand why he's gone wide, that's for sure. You can see the difference in the track there and the surface. Obviously, it's well plowed up on the inside. But look, just going through the motions here, I must confess, I've probably never been, I don't want to say I haven't been his biggest fan, but I've probably never been as strong as him as some. But look, he's run back in December, obviously very good behind Romantic Warrior. And, well, it was a bit of a stark contrast last time, so he probably needs to bounce back from that.
Yeah, he does. There were a few things that went against him last time out. He got sort of checked at the 1,400 metres when something happened between him and also a Massive Sovereign. But he's in for 4th. He ran 4th in this race last year. He's been a good horse, but I don't think he's quite got to the sort of heights they thought he might have got to. He's a Group 3 winner over the 2,400 in a previous Queen Mother Memorial. Here is his stablemate Tom Senor Toba. Gear change on him this week. The blinkers come off as they were in this trial. Well, this is one of his 3 grand finals through the year is Senor Toba. This is the trip that he wants, 2,400 metres. He'd probably appreciate a bit of moisture around on Sunday as well. Never got involved last time out in the Queen Mother Memorial Cup. In fact, he was at 7-1 basically in the market, and he was comprehensively trounced, so he needs to turn that around. Yeah, beaten over 31 lengths there as well. Look, 3rd and 7th in this race in the last 2 years. So, look, he's capable, as Tom said, you know, under these conditions. These are optimum, but he probably needs to do a bit more on last time. We get a look at the Derby winner in this race also. Nick spoke to the pilot of Massive Sovereign, Zac Purton.
For me, the question mark really is going to be the weather, right? It looks a little bit grubby leading up to race day, so we're just got to hope that we can get on a dry track and, you know, just see where he's at, because that last run was a little bit perplexing. Obviously, he's had a run overseas on soft ground and been disappointing, and that was sort of a little bit the same in the QE2. So I just want to get him onto a dry track and just be able to assess him properly against some better class horses. And albeit it's a fairly thin race outside of Rebel's Romance, but it'll still be a chance to see where we're at against the older horses.
Just going back to last time, of course, obviously you mentioned that, you know, there was obviously that disappointment naturally. Given that he had underperformed, the ground was what it was, does that mean that you and Dennis have sort of come away with some sort of answers, do you think?
Well, we've come away with questions, you know, was it the track, was it the class of race, did the Derby run take everything out of him? It's just really hard to answer those questions until we get back onto a firmer surface. So the horse is working well, he's galloped good, we're happy with him. We're just looking forward to hopefully getting onto a firm surface.
And what about the trip with him? I mean, again, total unknown, we don't know until we try, but does he ride like a horse you think will stretch out over that little bit extra?
So it's a question mark. He's a lovely relaxed horse. He's going to give himself every chance to run it. Whether he can run it, we're going to find out. It was either go here or go back to the 1800, and the owner preferred to run here, and I suppose by running here we get to answer the question for December. You know, is he going to be better suited running in the 2000 or the 2400? He might be even better at this distance, but you know, it's not really a question I can answer at the moment. We're going to find out.
Yeah, pedigree would suggest that he could well do. Small field, 2,400 metres, not a distance where we have too much exposure to throughout the course of the season. I guess just thinking about it and looking ahead to it, it could well be a little tactical affair, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think the favourite drawing out is good for him, because he's just not going to get into any hustle and bustle early. He'll just roll forward as comfortable as he can and take up a prominent position. And you know, there are a few horses in this that like to settle back, and You know, at this distance, you don't want to be bustling horses out of the gates to take handier positions when, you know, there's stayers that like to get into their rhythm. So I think every horse is going to fall into the spot that's comfortable for them, and then it's just a matter of the tempo of the race, how the track is playing on the day, the track condition itself, and, you know, whether we're any chance of being able to compete against the favourite at the ratings. You know, we're a long way out of it on ratings. He's got a lot on us. So, you know, it's a horse race. Anything can happen, and we're in it, so we have a chance.
That is Zac's thoughts, Nick. Here is Massive Sovereign last time in the QE2. This was over 2,000 metres on a rain-affected track. He ended up running 8th. Of course, before that he was unbeaten in his 2 runs in Hong Kong.
He was, yeah. Look, obviously he was mightily impressive. Both of them over 2,000, culminating, of course, in the Derby. I mean, look, it's very different form lines that we're taking. Obviously, 4-year-old restricted form in the series, of course, with the Derby notably, and then now coming into this Open Group 1 company. Look, he was well held on this occasion. It was yielding ground, so the fact he won a Derby on good to firm ground, this was yielding, so a stark contrast there. So that might have well blunted a bit of speed as well. But look, he meets stronger opposition this time in, Tom. I'd want to see him obviously bounce back from this. He's got to try and bounce back in a very competitive looking Group 1. And for me, he's no guarantee to stay this trip either.
No, that's a big question mark as well. 2,400 metres. Of course, we know the Derby form hasn't exactly stacked up going forward.
One winner,
either.
I think.
Has it? Yeah, one winner coming out of the Derby so far. And as Zac mentioned, he's got a lot to find on his ratings. He's rated 106, where Rebels Romance is rated 123. They're a golf apart.
Is he just too good for them, Rebels Romance, Tom?
I think he is. I think he just comes here and does win this weekend. Rebels Romance on his figures. If he wasn't to win this by more than 2 or 3 lengths, I think that's more than capable for him this time round, Rebels Romance. So he's clearly on top. 5G Patches in number 3 for Tony Cruz. He's placed in this race in the past. Russian Emperor and a Straight Aaron on a minor line. But I think he's going to be very, very tough to beat Rebels Romance. Rebels Romance by 2.5.
Yeah, look, I tend to agree. I think he will win by what sort of distance, I'm not quite sure, but he is the class act in the race. He's the one they've got to beat for sure. If that rain comes, Russian Emperor certainly comes into it and might well give him a little bit to think about. He's won the last 2 runnings of this. Moments in Time, perhaps one of the most interesting horses in the race there. Massive Sovereign, look, for all I question his stamina, I've put him in because obviously he has got plenty of class about him. 1-4-8-7.
Tom's gone 2.5. Give us a margin.
2.
All right.
There you go.
A switch stake on it.
I'll go 2.25. All right, that is a look at the Group 1, Tom, for the Standard Chartered Champions in Chater on Sunday. Rebels Romance for both the boys to win the race, but who was the best bet?
Best bet comes up in race number 9. It is Call Me Glorious for Francis Loy, and Zac Purton is riding here now. Things weren't ideal for him last time out. Wasn't the quickest away, and then he was hunted forward. He probably should have sat back and just let things unfold in front of him. It went forward, got caught wide, still stayed on really well, but just peaked on his run here. He's been back to the trials since he's trialled well, and this week Zac Purton gets on board for Francis Loy. So I think he can bounce back. Call Me Glorious in race 9 as horse 9. The value is My Wish. Now he's facing bottom up together in the race down the straight, but I think he's been trialling well, and will go all up for the play. There's 3 for Francis Loy there. Holy Lake, Divano, Call Me Glorious, with Rebels Romance in the feature.
He's also in good form, so good luck with that there, Tom. Best bet for me, race 3, number 7, Illuminous. Frankie Law and Zac Purton teaming up now. He started slow in this race, but he's finished off really strongly. He's going back up to 2,000 metres, acquitted himself well over the mile and a quarter when he raced over it. He's not a big horse. He's sort of an ideal horse really for a stayer. He's quite slight. He can quicken up strongly, and this is behind Holy Lake, so it's pretty decent form. I thought he hit the line well. He'll be the best for me. The long shot, race number 6, number 9, Forerunner. This horse has dropped a couple of pounds furthermore, and the play, race 5, 1-4-7.
Best bet is race 8, number 5, Daring Pursuit, going up in trip. Barrier number 1 is going to get a perfect trip. Long shot, race 9, number 7, Prawns 11, made some ground, late ground when getting clear last time. And the play, race 8, 5-8-14 in a QQP. Of course, all races previewed on the website, hkjc.com. Click on audio and video. You can see all the 10 there. Here is the diary of what is upcoming. And Sunday, Nick, the 2nd of June, that time is right because it's Twilight Series time.
It is indeed. Yeah, looking forward to that. A couple of Group 3s as well, Tom.
Yep, we've got one for you on Wednesday night as well. 5-horse field, Adderfield.
All right, there you go. You can get in it nice and early. That has been Racing to Win ahead of the Champions in Chater, the last Group 1 of the season. We'll see you for the first at 12:45.